made me think of overuse injuries. And I know there's a lot of discussion about, okay, like, yes, you need the load management, the physical piece of it, the actual like take your off days. But my question is, when girls are taking their off days, are they truly in a parasympathetic state?
Yeah.
Are they truly let's go there, because I think when people think off days, it's like, "Oh, I'm just not going to practice or my skills training or my strength coach." But is your off day you constantly scrolling TikTok and being stimulated and being triggered all the time? Is your muscle or your joints truly recovering? Like, that's my question. I feel we can go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great question. And I think my answer 99% of the time is no, because people don't really understand what rest and digest is. The parasympathetic nervous system, although it is rest and digest, we have to remember it's first and foremost about safety. And so, what I'm finding is that, and what you just said, is that you can go lay down on the couch and your internal safety, or I should say internally, you don't feel safe because you've got 5 tests that week and you're scrolling on TikTok and you've got some type of, relationship drama going on or whatever, right?
Or
So
you're in a
again,
40-person group chat or
yeah, right. There's notifications bombing around, right? Or you're even constantly stressing, and there's so much anxiety and worry around, like, if you are injured, when am I going to get back? And the fear of re-injury, right? So, first and foremost, we have to really understand that it's about safety, and how do we help athletes really understand that, but also develop and access internal safety, because there are going to be pieces of life and athlete life externally that we can't actually control. So then it's about helping athletes understand, and this is why I do so much education around the nervous system, because this is not just a cognitive or mental thing. If it was that easy, then we would just be able to simply think our way into rest and recovery, or think our way into safety. And we know that that doesn't happen, right? It's a really embodied experience. It has to be the language of the nervous system is not English. It's not verbal, it's body based. And so this is why so much of the work that I do is more like somatic and helping athletes really understand, excuse me, how to rest. What does that look and feel like in the body? And how do we help our nervous system actually not just slow down and calm down, because it's not always about being calm, right? But really come into a place where they internally feel a sense of safety and more grounded. I think the other piece around this that we've talked often about in anxiety is regulation, and helping our nervous system become more regulated and shift out of dysregulation is not just about being calm all the time. It's actually about being able to have the appropriate response and allow our nervous system to have the response that it needs. So this is where a lot of times I'm talking with players about, and let's use fear or anxiety, for example. Like, I think it's a common misconception that every time that we feel anxious or even, get angry or seriously afraid, that the solution is I need to calm down. I need to soothe. I need to slow things down. And actually, sometimes the way that we communicate and help the nervous system come into regulation is by actually meeting the energy where it is. And so maybe that actually looks like taking 30 seconds to scream, or allowing yourself, right, to move through some of the more anxiety driven energy in the body. And so that's helping us actually complete the stress response, as opposed to stifling that and slowing everything down and calming. So it's very nuanced, but I think so much of this can be solved by like simple, basic education around the nervous system and what actually is rest and recovery. I think also another thing that I'm going to ask you about is, how do you see this in your female athletes with just the relationship to rest? Because I know so many athletes, they come to work with me and they tell me, I ask them to tell me what their rest day is. And I'm looking at them going, that's a rest day? I'm like, that's a workout day for me, right? So there
right.
is this like really skewed perception around like what is rest and digest. And so in that sense, right, they're really never actually allowing their nervous system, that parasympathetic nervous system, to come more online and reach that rest and digest place.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think they don't really understand what it means to be in that regulated state, and they always have to be stimulated by something. Even though they might not be doing like a full-blown training session, they have to be, looking at their phone or like doing something. And it's like, it's okay to just sit, be in that silence, stare into space even. And I even see with my girls, like we have a phone box in my gym where you leave your phone in during the workout. And
Love that.
sometimes they'll go to the pull-up bar, they'll do a set of pull-ups, and then they kind of inch their way to that phone box and they're like anxiously standing there, like, oh, I want to touch the box and grab my phone. And I'm like, guys, chill, go have a seat, like, it's in between sets, you'll get your phone later, and it's just, like, stuff like that where there's this constant need to be stimulated or to be doing something, and there's just that lack of education on, like you said, like, what the rest truly means.